Myself, Dr. M. Laxmidevi, Associate Professor in the Department of CSCDS at Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. In this video lecture, we'll see some programs based upon loops. So in C, we know that there are looping statements also. So the different loops which we have in C programming language are while loop, then for loop, and then one more is there, do while loop. So coming to while loop and for loop, so these are entry control loops. So these are called as entry control loops, whereas do while loop is called as exit control loop. So based upon the condition when it is checked, so these two are classified into these two types, entry controlled and exit control loops. So here the condition is checked before the evaluation of these statements, and here the condition is checked after the evaluation of once the statement is executed, and after that the condition is checked. We have also seen the syntax and the algorithm flowchart also for these three loops. So you can go through my previous video lectures regarding loops. So there we have discussed in detail. So while loop, coming to while loop, the syntax of while loop is, so while, and then inside this we need to write the conditional expression. So after that, inside these curly brackets, we need to write the statements. So if this expression is evaluated to true, then the block of statements which are present inside these curly brackets will be evaluated. So until and unless this condition becomes false. Now similarly for loop also. So inside this we need to write. So coming to any loop, so there are three important aspects you need to write in a program. So first one is you need to initialization expression is required. So first initialization. So here we write the conditional expression, and inside this we write the update expression. So for any loops you consider, these three expressions are important. Then coming to for loop, but the way it is written differs. So in the for loop, all the different expressions, they are written here itself. So for initialization, so here we have initialization expression. Then after that we have the conditional expression, condition, and then after that update expression is involved. So inside the curly brackets we write the statements. So generally loops are used. So these are the block of statements. So generally we write loops. So in order to perform a task repeatedly, so whenever a certain set of statements are to be repeated, or whenever a certain task is to be repeated many number of times, then we use this loops. The concept of loops comes into picture. So do while loop is, the syntax is do, and then inside this we write the statements. After that we check the condition. So this is do and this is, so these are the keywords which we use for do while loop. So do is a keyword, while is a keyword here. So all the keywords which are there in C programming language, so they are written in small case, small letters. So we know that there are different keywords. Keywords are nothing but the reserved words. Now in this video lecture, we'll see some of the programs based upon the concept of loops. So all the loops we'll cover. So first one, so program to print even numbers from 1 to n using while loop, for loop and do while loop. So we know that we have seen in the previous video lecture. So even numbers, so we can find whether a number is even or not based upon the condition. So if the number is divisible by 2, then it is exactly divisible by 2, then it is an even number. If it is not divisible by 2, it is an odd number. So we'll write a program only to check whether it is even number or not. So first, so here the program is to print even numbers from 1 to n. So here n stands for the maximum limit or the upper limit, you can say. Suppose n is equal to 5 here. So then you need to print the even numbers from 1 to n. So in this range, so in the range 1 to 5, so whatever the even numbers are there, so those numbers are to be printed with the help of this program. So here we need to do the task of repeating the task of printing the even numbers many number of times. So we need to check each number. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So we need to check this number whether it is divisible by 2, and then print if it is an even or not. If it is even, then we need to print that value. Then again we need to check this number also whether it is even or not, and then we need to print the print that this is an even number. So therefore we need to check all these numbers from 1 to 5. So this task can be implemented. So this task of accessing each and element can be implemented with the help of different loops. So first we will see while loop program. So here in the while loop syntax is, so before entering the while loop or before checking the condition, we need to initialize the variable. So that is the looping variable here, you can say. So here we have initialized the value to 1. So I is a looping variable, I is equal to 1 here. So before that we need to read the value of n from the user. So for that we have used the scanf statement. Then these statements, they are printed as it is on the screen or your monitor. Now first, this is the initialization step. So after that we are checking the condition. So here the condition is 1 less than or equal to n. Suppose we enter 5. So 1 is less than 5. So this condition becomes true. So when this is true, it will enter this loop. So these are the statements which are written inside this loop. So these 3 statements will be executed. So now here we have written an if condition. So if I mod 2 is equal to 0. So here I is equal to 1. So I mod 2 is equal to 0 means, so this is false. So it is not, if you divide this, the modulus is not 0. So this is false. So this statement will not be printed. So we know that inside the if statement, we have written only one printf statement. So therefore we have not written any curly brackets here. So only this statement will be executed. If this condition is true, this statement is executed. Now 1 mod 2 is not equal to 0. So therefore it will go to the next line. So this will be evaluated. Now I value will be incremented by 1. So if you don't write this, it will become an infinite loop. So it will go on repeating. So therefore this step is important. Now I is equal to 2 now. So next again it will come here. It will check the condition. Now I value is equal to 2. So condition will be checked. 2 is less than or equal to 5. So 2 is less than 5. This condition is true. So next inside this while loop we have this statement. So I, that means 2 mod 2 is equal to 0. So we get the remainder as 0 here. So this condition is true. So therefore this line will be printed. So percentage %d is the format specifier. Corresponding value is I. So I is equal to 2. So 2 will be printed here. Next again I value is incremented by 1. So this process of condition checking and then this statement will be checked, or this condition will be evaluated 5 times. So here since in is equal to 5, so I will vary from 1 to 5. So 5 times this condition will be checked, and if the condition is true, then that particular integer will be printed. So we know that since 2 is an even number, so 2 will be printed. Next 2 will be incremented by 1. So I will be equal to 3 now. So 3 less than 5, that is true. So next this will be checked. 3 mod 2 is equal to 0. This is false. So therefore it will skip this statement. Next I will be incremented by 1. So I is equal to 4 now. 4 less than 5. This is also true. So this condition will be checked. 4 mod 2 is equal to 0. So therefore it is true. This condition is true. So 4 will be printed on the screen. Next 4 is incremented by 1. So I is equal to 5 now. So 5 is equal to 5. This is also true. This condition will be checked. But 5 mod 2 is not equal to 0. So therefore this will not be printed. So after that I will be incremented by 1. So I is equal to 6 now. 6 is less than 5. So that becomes false. Then after that this will be the end of this while loop. So it will come out of this while loop, and since there are no other statements written, the program will terminate. So in this way we can write the program to print. So these are the 2 test cases which we have evaluated. So in the first case we are entering the value of, so when we run this program, so after compiling and running the program, so this is what is visible on the screen. So enter the value of n. Suppose we enter 5. So even numbers from 1 to 5, so they are 2 and 4. So this is the output of this program. Now, so for another test case, suppose we enter the value of n as 10. So these values are printed. So these are the even numbers from 2 to 10. 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10. So in this way, we can write the program to check whether the given number is even or even and print the corresponding even numbers. Similarly, you can write the program to print odd numbers also from 1 to n using different loops. Next is program to print even numbers from 1 to n using for loop. So in the for loop, syntax for loop is, here we need to write the initialization, expression, then after that condition, or you can say condition expression, and then update expression. So here in the update expression, you can have increment or decrement. So now let us see with the help of this program. So we have declared here two variables, n, capital N. So it reads up to what value the integers, even numbers are to be printed. Suppose n is equal to 5 here. So we need to print the even numbers from 1 to 5. Now I is looping variable. So in order to access the variable value from 1 to 5. Next, with the help of the scanf function, so we are reading the value of n. Next is for loop. So for I is equal to 1, this is the initialization. So I is, since the start, so we need to check this number, start from this number to check whether it is even. So I is initialized to 1. So after that, it will check this condition. So 1 less than 5. So this is true. So therefore, this condition will be evaluated. So inside this for loop, so after checking these two expressions, so statements inside the for loop will be executed. So if 1, so here, so in the first line, I mod 2 is equal to 0, that I is equal to 1 here. So this is false. So this condition is false. So therefore, this statement, printf statement will not be executed. Then this is there are no more statements to be executed here. So it will come again. So I value is incremented by 1 now. So when I is equal to, so I is incremented by 1, I is equal to 2 now. So again it will, I is initialized to 2 now. Now 2 less than 5, the condition will be checked, it is true. So 2 mod 2 is equal to 0. So this is evaluated, this condition becomes true. So therefore 2 will be printed. So thus in this way, so we can write the program. So this loop will go on checking for whether this for loop will take the values from 1 to n. So n value is equal to 5. So based upon the value of n what you are entering, so this for loop will vary from 1 to n. So here we have, suppose we enter 5. So this for loop will iterate for 5 values. So this will have 5 iterations. So in the first iteration, so each value is checked whether it is equal to, whether the modulus, so whether the corresponding 1 mod 2 is equal to 0 or not. Next iteration 2 mod 2 will be checked. Third iteration 2 mod 3, 3 mod 2 is equal to 0, that will be checked. In this way, if this statement is true, then this printf statement will be executed, else so I value will be incremented by 1. So long as this condition becomes false. So these are the two test cases which we have run this for this program. So in the first case, we have entered the value of 20. So these are the even numbers from 1 to 20. You can see here. So now even numbers from 1 to 20 are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 and 20. Similarly, when you enter the value of n as 5, so even numbers from 1 to 5, you can see that 2 and 4 are printed. So in this way, we can write the program to print even numbers from 1 to n using for loop. So next, we'll see the same program to print the even numbers from 1 to n. Suppose n is equal to 5, from 1 to 5 using do while loop. So do while loop it is an exit control loop. So here we write the statements. After that, the condition is checked. This is the condition to be checked. So here we need to do the initialization. Now let us see the program. So first we need to read the value of n that is stored in the variable capital N. Then this is the looping variable I. So it is of type integer. So I is equal to 1. The value of I is initialized to 1. Next, do while loop. So in the do while loop, we have written these statements. So these statements are there. So when this do while loop will be executed at least once. So therefore, it will check for I mod 2 is equal to first case is 1 mod 2 is equal to 0. If it is true, so this condition is false. So therefore this line is not evaluated. This printf statement will not be executed. Next, I value will be incremented by 1. Now I is equal to 2 now. After incrementing the value, then after that it will check this condition, 2 is less than 5. So 2 is, since we know that 2 is less than 5, so therefore it will again go here. So 2 mod 2 is equal to 0. So that is true. So I value will be printed. So we'll get 2 as even number. Next, I value is 3. So after that it will check this condition, 3 is less than 5. So thus in this way it will go on repeating. This loop will go on repeating from 1 to 5. So here 5 is less than 5. Suppose n is given as 5, so 5 less than or equal to 5. So that value will be taken by I. So this condition will be checked, and then this statement will be executed if this condition is true. Next, when I is incremented by 1, I is equal to 6. So this condition is checked, 6 is less than 5, that is false. So therefore this loop will be terminating. So in this way, we can write a program to print even numbers from 1 to n using do while loop. Now next is, we'll write a program to find factorial of a number. So we know that factorial of a given number, suppose we have the number is given as 3. So factorial of this given number is equal to 1 into 2 into 3. So which is equal to 6. Now factorial of 2 we can write it as 1 into 2, which is equal to 2. Factorial of 4 is equal to 1 into 2 into 3 into 4. So this is equal to 6 into 4, 24. So in this way, so this is how we calculate the factorial. Now let us see how to write this program by using for loop. So we have used here for loop. So you can use other loops also to find the factorial, to write the program for finding the factorial of a number. So in order to write this, so we are declaring 3 variables. One is num, another is I variable, and the other variable is fact. So in order to store this result value, so we are declaring a variable fact, and so enter the number. Suppose for what number you need to find the factorial, so that value is stored in the variable num. So num is a variable. So this variable is read from the user. Suppose the value entered by the user is 3. So we need to find the factorial of 3 here. So fact is equal to 1, that is initialized. So fact is equal to 1. Next, for here in the for loop, we need to use 3 expressions. First is initialization, next is condition, and the last one is update expression. So here we are performing decrement. We are decrementing the value of y by 1 in each case or in each iteration. Now it will enter this. So whenever we are not writing the statements for this for loop inside the brackets or inside the curly braces, so if there are more than 2 statements, then we need to use these braces. Otherwise you can skip the braces. So for loop, so I value is initialized to num. Suppose now I is equal to 1 now. So I is equal to num means, suppose we have entered the value of num as 3. So I is equal to 3 now. Next, this condition will be checked. 3 is greater than 1. It is true. So therefore this will be performed. Factorial. So fact is equal to fact into I. So fact value is equal to 1, that we have initialized to 1. So this into I. So I is equal to 3 now. So this is equal to 3. Now fact value is equal to 3. So fact is equal to 3 now. Next, after that, I value is decremented by 1. So I is equal to, initially I was equal to 3. Now I is equal to 2 now. So when I is equal to 2, so fact is 3. So 3 into 2. So 3 into 2 is equal to 6. So this is equal to fact value now. Next, after that, I value is decremented by 1. Next fact value is from the previous iteration. So we got the value as 6. So 6 into 1 is equal to 6. So this is the value of this. Next, I value is again decremented by 1. I is equal to 0. 0 is greater than 1. This condition becomes false. So therefore it will come out of this loop and then it will print this statement. Factorial of %d corresponds to the number value. So you'll get the output as factorial of whatever the number you have entered is the corresponding answer, which is stored in the variable fact. So thus in this way, you can write the program to find the factorial of a number using for loop. So if you run this program, you will get this as the output. So enter the number. So user will be prompted to enter some number. Suppose the number entered is 5. So you will get the answer as factorial of 5 is 120. So we know that you can verify your answer also. So 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. So 24 into 5 is 120. So in this way, you can write the program to find factorial of a number. Now next is we'll write this program to read an integer number and print its multiplication table using while loop. So the same program we'll implement by using for loop and do while loop also. First we'll see its implementation with the help of while loop. So for any program, C program, we need to include this header file, stdio.h header file. So whatever statements are executed, these statements are started from the main function. So inside this main function, we need to write the statements or program. So here we have declared two variables, num and I. So num is a variable which holds so here it is given that we need to read an integer number. So this integer number, so in order to read this integer number, we are using a variable num. Next, printf statement, enter the number. So after that, the num value. So we have declared a variable num. We need to give some value. So user will be prompted to enter the value. Suppose the user has entered 5. So num is equal to 5 now. So I is equal to 1. So I is initialized to 1. So this while loop will iterate from 1 to. So long as this condition is true, so these statements inside the while loop will be executed. So as you can see here, so there are two statements which are to be executed inside the while loop. One is printf statement, another is the increment statement. So first, I is I less than or equal to 10. So this is equal to, so 1 less than is true. So this is true. So when this is true, so this printf statement will be executed. So inside the printf statement, we have %d corresponds to num. Suppose we have entered 5 here. So 5 into this %d corresponds to I. So I is equal to 1 now in the first iteration. So this is equal to this %d corresponds to num into I. So value num into I is 5 into 1, which is equal to 1. So 5 into 1 is equal to 5. Next, I value is incremented by 1. So I is equal to 2 now. So in the second iteration, so this is the first iteration. So in the second iteration, so I is equal to 2 now. 2 less than or equal to 10. So this is true. So therefore this printf statement will be executed. So num into I. So that means 5 into 2 is equal to 10. So this will be printed. So in the third iteration, so I value is incremented by 1. Since we have used increment operator here, so I is incremented by 1. So I is equal to 3 now. So 3 is less than or equal to 10. This is true. So therefore 5 into 3 is equal to 15. So this will be printed on the screen. So these statements will be printed on the screen. So in the fourth iteration, so we know that multiplication table is from 1 to 10. So therefore we need to repeat this. So we need to repeat this printf statement 10 times. So therefore this loop will run from 1 to 10. So this is how we can write the program to read an integer number. So in order to read an integer number from the user, we are using the scanf statement. And in order to print the multiplication table, so we are using the while loop. So in this way, we can write the program. When you run this, so the user will be prompted to enter some number. So enter the number. Suppose the user is entering 5. So then this will be the answer. So we will get the output as 5 into 1 is equal to 5. 5 into 2 is equal to 10. So even if you don't write this also, so these two values also, you will get the answer. So simply if you specify %d and then num into I, %d inside the quotes, double quotes, printf statement, you will get the answer. But for better visibility, so you can write this also, the whole statement. So in this way, we can extend the program, or we can write it by using another loop also. So same program, we'll write it by using for loop. So here also we need to declare two variables. One is the looping variable, so which tells how many times the loop is to be repeated, and another is the number. So the number corresponds to the integer number for what we need to print the multiplication table. So enter the number. So this is for the user to know what action is to be taken. So when you run the program, otherwise you can skip this statement also. Then scanf, the value of num is read by the it is given by the user. So num value, suppose the user is entering 5. So 5 is stored in the variable num. So this I is, so in the for loop, all the three expressions, they are written in single line. So this is initialization, condition, and then last one is update expression. So same printf statement you can use here also, you can see. So this printf statement we have written inside the for loop. So this will repeat. So percentage %d here corresponds to the number, whatever you have entered. Then after that, we have written this symbol. So here percentage %d corresponds to I. So I is varying from 1 to 10. So I is varying from, so I is initialized to 1 and the last value is 10. So I is varying from 1 to 10. So 5 into 1, this value is nothing but the multiplication answer, num into I. So this is equal to 5. So same program you can execute by using while loop also. Same program which we have executed using while loop, we are using for loop also. So same printf statement you can use. So you can see here, so this loop is varying from 1 to 10. Since this condition become false, this printf statement will be executed. Suppose the user is entering some num is equal to 6. So 6 is giving, so this output you will get it as 6 into 1 is equal to 6. So and so on up to 6 into 10 is equal to 60. So whatever the user is entering the number, for that correspondingly multiplication table will be printed. So next one is using do while loop. A similar program, so same program we can write by using do while loop also. So for this also we need to, so as you can see here, so these statements, they are repeated in all the programs. So this is repeated for while loop and do while loop, but in the for loop we know there is no need of initialization at the beginning. In the loop itself we do the initialization. Next, do while loop. Syntax of do while loop is do followed by, inside the curly brackets we need to write the statements which are to be repeated number of times, and here we need to write the update expression also. After that we need to check the condition. So here the condition to be checked is I less than or equal to 10. So that means, so I is initialized to 1. Then after that this statement will be executed. So suppose we are entering the number as 5. Suppose we are entering the number as 4. So 4 into 1 is equal to 4. So this statement will be executed. After that I value is incremented by 1. So for this I is equal to 1. So this statement will be executed first, and then after that the condition is checked. So 4 into 2 is equal to 8. Next after that I is incremented by 3. Then condition is checked. This statement is printed. So in this way, this loop will repeat from I is equal to 1 to 10. So in this way, we can write the program to read an integer number and print its multiplication table using do while loop. Next program is to count the total digits in a given integer. Suppose the user is, so what is the program about is, suppose the user is giving 1, 2, 3 as the number. Suppose this is a value which is taken from the user. So 1, 2, 3. So here in this we have 3 digits. So output should be 3. Suppose the user is giving 5, 4, 6, 7. So output should be 4, because here we have 4 digits, here we have 3 digits. So therefore the output is 3. For this there are 4 digits, the corresponding output is 4. So let us write a program for this to count the total number of digits. So we can separate the digits for each one by using let us see the program. So int num. So we have declared here two variables. One is num variable to take the integer value, to take the integer number from the user. Another is count variable, which keeps track of count of how many digits are there in the that corresponding number. So initially we have initialized the count variable to 0. So count is equal to 0. Count variable is assigned a value of 0. Now with the help of scanf function, so number value can be given some number. Num variable can be used to hold some number. Suppose 1, 2, 3 we are giving. So next we are using do while loop here. So inside this do while loop, so we are incrementing the value of count. Now when this statement is executed, count value is incremented by 1. Count is incremented by 1. Then after that, num is num mod. So this statement implies that num is equal to num divided by 10. So when you divide this by 10, 123 divided by 10, you will get 12. Now num is equal to 12 now. So after that, it will come here. So it will check the condition. So 12 is not equal to 0. So this is true. So therefore again count value will be incremented by 1. After this, count is incremented by 2. Next, again you will get the answer 12 divided by 10 is equal to 1. So now num is equal to 1 now. So this is equal to 1. So 12 divided by 10 is 1. So for this, after that, while this condition will be checked. So 1 is not equal to 0. So this condition is true. So therefore count value is incremented by 1. Count is equal to 3 now. So next again 1 divided by 10. So this is equal to num. So now num is equal to, we know that 1 divided by 10 is 0. So 0 is not equal to 0. This condition becomes false. So therefore count value is not incremented by 1. So now count is equal to 3. So we are going to print. So after the do while loop, so this is the printf statement with the help of which we can print the count value. So total digits is %d value gives the value of the variable count. So in this way, so if you run the program, so you will get this will be prompted on the screen. Enter any number. Suppose the user is entering 3, 4, 5 and 6. So in this we have 4 digits, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So therefore we can say that the output of this program is total digits is equal to 4. So in this way we can write the program to count the total digits in a given integer. Next one is program to check palindrome number. So what is palindrome number is, so if you take any number, suppose 1221, and if you reverse this number, so if you start writing this number from the end, so 1221, so this original number and this reversed number both are same. So therefore this is called as palindrome number. Now if you take another number, suppose 6523. So this is the original number, and if you reverse this number, so 3, 2, if you reverse the digits, so 3, 2, 5 and 6. So this is the reversed number. So you can see here both the numbers are totally different. So this is not palindrome. So therefore you can say that this is not palindrome. Now let us write a program to check whether the given number is palindrome or not. So for this purpose we have initialized. So we have initialized the variable reverse rev is equal to 0. Then we have declared two variables n and num. So enter the number to check. So here n holds the value, n holds the integer value. So suppose 6523 we are entering. So n is equal to 6523. So that is read by using scanf statement. Now num is also assigned the value n. So num is also equal to same number now 6523. So num is equal to 6523 and n is the value which is entered by the user. So 6523 the user is entering. Now it will go to while loop. So while n is not equal to 0. N is 6523, it is not equal to 0. So this condition becomes true. So when this becomes true, this line will be executed. So here REV, in the first iteration, REV is equal to 0 here. So 0 into 10 is 0. So 0 plus, what is n mod 10? So n mod 10, 6523 mod 10. So output of this is 3. So this is equal to 3. So 0 plus 3 is equal to 3. Now reverse is equal to 3. So this is the value of reverse now. So in the first iteration, REV is equal to 3. What about n? N divided by 10. So 6523 divided by 10, you will get 652. So for this case, so in the first iteration, REV is equal to 3 and n is equal to 652. Next, after that, again it will check the condition. So 652 is not equal to 0. This condition becomes true. Then this step will be executed. Now again, now you can see here. So whatever the value of n is there, now n value is equal to 652. So 652 mod 10, the remainder of this is 2. The remainder of this is 652 mod 10 is equal to 2. So 2, you will get the answer as 2 plus. So previously the value of reverse is 3. So 3 into 10 is 30. 30 plus 2 is 32. Now reverse is equal to, so in the second iteration reverse is 32 and n is equal to, so after this the n is equal to 652 divided by 10. So you'll get 65. In the next iteration, n value is equal to 65. So this condition becomes true. 65 is not equal to 0. So therefore this line will be evaluated. This step will be executed. Now 65 mod 10. So output of this is equal to 5. The remainder of this is 5 plus previous value of reverse is 32. So 32 into 10 is 320. So 320 plus 5 is, so this is 320 plus 5, 325. Now reverse is equal to 325 and n is equal to, so n is nothing but n divided by 10. So n divided by 10, 65 divided by 10 is 6. Now 6 is not equal to 0. So therefore again this step will be evaluated. So 6 mod 10 is equal to 6 only. So 6 plus, what about the reverse? So 325 into 10. So reverse is 325 into 10. Now reverse value is 325 into 10. So that is 3250. So 3250 plus 6. So 3256. Now 6 divided by 10. So 6 is equal to, you will get the answer. 6 divided by 10 is, so it is 0. Now 0 is not equal to 0. That condition becomes false. So now no more these statements will be executed. So in this way, thus you can see that the reversed number, so the value which is stored in the variable reversed is 3256. So initial number which we have taken is n, that is equal to 6523. So that value is assigned to the variable num. Num is not changing, it remains constant, but the variable is the value of n is changing in each iteration. So n value is changed here. So you can compare this as the original number and then the reversed number. You can see here. So initial number is, the original number is 6523 and here the reversed number is 3256. So both of them are totally different. So in this way you can say that the original number and reverse number both are not same, therefore this is not palindrome. So if you enter, so these are the two test cases. First, in the first one we have entered 6523. So program is showing, giving the output as 6523 is not palindrome. In the second case, so we have entered the number 1221. So we will get the output as this one. 1221 is palindrome. So in this way, you can write a program to check whether the given number is palindrome or not. Next one, program to find strong numbers between 1 to n. So what is a strong number? First we'll see the definition of strong number. So a number is a strong number when the sum of the factorial of individual digits is equal to the number. Suppose we have the number, same number. For example, consider this 145. So 145, whether to check whether it is a strong number or not, you have to take the factorial of individual digits and then add them. So 145 into 145 is 145. So 145 into 1 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 is So individual digits are 1, 4 and 5. So take the factorial of all the digits and then add them. You should get the answer as 145. The same original number should be obtained. Then you can say that this is a strong number. Suppose you take the number as 12. So 1 factorial plus 2 factorial is equal to 1 plus 2 factorial is 1 into 2. So that is 2. This is equal to 3. So this number and this number both are not equal. So therefore you can say that this is not a strong number. This is not a strong number. Whereas coming to this 1 factorial is 1. So 1 plus 4 factorial is, so 1 into 2 into 3 into 4. 5 factorial is 4 factorial into 5 you can say. So 2, 6 4s are 24. So this is 120. So 120 plus 24 is 144 plus 1, 145. So in this way, this number and this original number both are same. So therefore, you can say that this is a strong number. Now we'll see how many strong numbers are there in the range 1 to n. So this is the value which is specified by the user. Suppose n is equal to 5. So we need to find the strong numbers from 1 to 5. Now let us see the program first. So this is a program to find strong numbers between 1 to n. So for this we are declaring, so these variables, so I, j, all are integer variables, num, digit and n, and then two more variables, fact and sum. So here we are asking the user to enter some upper limit. So upper limit specifies here capital N value. Suppose the user is entering 23. So value of n is equal to 23. So this is the upper limit. So that means in this range 1 to 23, we need to find how many strong numbers are there. So all the strong numbers between 1 to this capital N, they are given with the help of for loop. So with the help of this for loop, so since we need to check whether each particular number is a strong number or not, so we need to repeat this, repeat the logic for checking whether it is a strong number or not, the number of times this. So these many number of times, that means 23 times you need to check. So therefore we are using for loop here. So I value is initialized to 1. So starting from 1 we need to check. The last number is 23. So num value is initialized with I. So in the first iteration num is equal to 1. Then sum is equal to 0. Then in the while loop we are checking this condition. Num is greater than 0. So num value is 1. 1 is greater than 0. That condition is true. So therefore fact is equal to 1. So this value is initialized to 1. So fact is equal to 1. Then after that digit is num. What is num here? Num is equal to 1. So 1 mod 10. So when you divide, the remainder of this division is equal to 1 only. So therefore this for loop will repeat one time. For j is equal to 1 to, this for loop will repeat one time. So fact is equal to, initial value of fact is 1. So 1 into j. J value is also 1. So this will be 1. So factorial is equal to 1 now. Now sum is equal to, so after that it will exit from this loop because digit is only 1. So therefore this statement will be executed only once. So fact is equal to 1 now. So sum is equal to 1. Now num value is equal to, num is num divided by 10. So num divided by 10 is 1 divided by 10, which is equal to 0. So 0 is greater than 0, the condition becomes false. So after that this condition is checked. So it will exit from this loop will be terminated. These statements will no longer be executed. So it will come here. This condition is checked. So sum value and then I value. So initial value of I is equal to 1. So if sum is equal to 1, we can say that this is a printf, the corresponding number. So this is a strong number. So 1 is a strong number because 1 factorial is equal to 1. So 1 factorial is equal to 1. This number and the last number which has been obtained after taking the factorial both are same. So therefore 1 is a strong number. Then after that, so here after checking the condition, this printf statement will be executed. then it will again I value is incremented by 1. Now I is equal to 2 now. Now I is equal to 2. So num is initialized with a variable. So 2. Now num is equal to 2 now. Again sum is initialized with 0. Then this condition is checked. So 2 is greater than 0. The condition is true. 2 greater than 0. Condition is true. So now these statements will be executed inside the while loop. So all these statements, they are inside the while loop. So here fact is equal to 1. Then digit is num mod 10. So 2 mod 10. So this is equal to 2. Remainder is 2 here. So this loop will be executed from j is equal to 1 to j less than or equal to digit. That means 2 times. So loop will repeat for 2 times. J is equal to 1 to j is equal to 2. So fact is equal to 1 into 1, that is equal to 1. Then again after that j value is incremented by 1. J is equal to 2 now. So 1 into 2 is equal to 2. Now fact is equal to 2 now. After that j is incremented, the condition is checked. This condition no longer becomes true. So this is the loop in order to find the factorial of the given number. So if the given number is 3, then this loop is repeated 3 times. So 3 into 2 into 1. So in this way this loop is repeated 3 times. So if here it is equal to 2, then this loop is repeated 2 times. Now sum is equal to sum plus fact. So initial value of sum is 0. So 0 plus 2, that is equal to 2. Now 2 divided by 10 is equal to 2 only. So 2 divided by 10 is equal to 0. Division you get it as 0. So here this is no longer true. So therefore it becomes false, and then this condition is checked. Now sum value is equal to 2 now. And what is I value? So I value is equal to 2 now. I is equal to 2 and sum fact is equal to 2. And what about the sum? Sum is equal to sum plus fact. So fact is equal to 2. So therefore you can say that both are equal. So 2 is equal to 2. Both are equal. Therefore 2 is also a strong number. Next, in this way, after that it will check this again. I value is incremented by 1. Now I is equal to 3. So I is equal to 3. In this way the loop will repeat. So thus you can trace the program. So it will check for all numbers from 1 to 23. So if you run the program for different inputs, so this is, suppose we give the value of n as 23. So all strong numbers between 1 to 23 are 1 and 2. So these are the strong numbers in between 1 and 23. So 1 and 2 are strong numbers. And then for another test case, if you enter the value of n as 1000, so these are the strong numbers between 1 to 1000, 1, 2 and 145. 1, 2 and 145. So these are the strong numbers in the range 1 to 1000. So thus you can write the program to find strong numbers between 1 to n. Now next one is perfect number. So let us see how to find perfect number. Let us see the definition of perfect number first. A perfect number is a positive integer which is equal to the sum of its positive divisors excluding the number itself. So for example, you can say consider a number 6. So its divisors are 1, 2 and 3. So 6 is exactly divisible by 1, 6 is divisible by 2 also, and 6 is divisible by 3 also. So therefore these are the divisors of 6. So 1, 2 and 3 are the divisors of 6. If you take the addition of, if you add these, then you will get exactly the same number. 3 plus 2 is 5, 6. So this 6 and this 6 must be equal. So you should not include the value 6. 6 is also divisible by 6, but we are not including this. So excluding the number itself. A perfect number is a positive integer which is equal to the sum of its positive divisors excluding the number itself. So for example, consider another number. So 28. So divisors of 28 are 1, 2, then 4, 7 and then 14. So all these are divisible by, so 28 is divisible by 1, 2, 4, 7 and 14. So if you add them, 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 7 plus 14, so you will get the answer as 28. So 14 plus 11 plus 13 plus 14. 14 plus 14 is 28. So hence you can say that 28 is a perfect number. So in this way, we'll write the program to find perfect numbers between 1 to n. So here n specifies the upper limit or the range up to what you have to find the perfect numbers. Suppose the user is entering 100, then n is equal to 100. So this value is taken from the user, or you can specify directly in the program also. So here we have used three variables of type integer, I, j, capital N and sum. So printf enter the range, then with the help of scanf function, n value is read, then the perfect numbers between 1 to %d. So here %d specifies capital N. So this is the for loop. So since we need to find the perfect number from 1 to 10, so this for loop will repeat from 1 to 100. So in order to iterate from 1 to 100, this is a for loop. So n value, so maximum, this loop will repeat from 1 and then it will execute till 100. This I value is equal to 100. So next, in order to check whether the given number is perfect number or not, so this is the logic. So this is the logic to check whether the given number is perfect number or not. So first we need to find the divisors of the given number. So suppose first the given number is I is equal to 1. So this is the logic, j is equal to 1. Then inside one more we have used one more for loop. So for j is equal to 1, j less than or equal to I. So j will iterate from 1 to, so j is less than I. So that means 1 is less than 1. This condition becomes false. So it will not be executed. If sum is equal to I, so 0 is equal to 1. So that means this line will not be executed if it is false. Next after that 2. So for I is equal to 2. So this loop will run from j is equal to 1 to j less than 2. So that means j is equal to, for only one iteration it will run. So that means we are not finding whether the given number is, so whether the number itself is also a divisor. So skipping that, we need to find all other numbers. So then inside this, we need to check this condition if I mod j is equal to 0. That means whether the given number is perfectly divisible by, now initially if 2 mod 1 is equal to 0, so here j is equal to 1. When j is equal to 1, this is 2. So 2 mod 1 is equal to 0. 2 mod 1 is equal to 0. If it becomes true, then some value will be incremented by 1. Next, after that, again it will go, increment the value of j. J is equal to 2 now. So 2 is less than 2. So this statement will not be executed. So hence it will come out of this loop. So if sum is equal to, then after that it will check this condition. So if it is true, then this line will be printed. So in this way, let us see when the given number is, so if I is equal to 6 now. So from 1 to, from 1 to 5, there are no perfect numbers. So suppose I is equal to 6. So when I is equal to 6, so initial value start, sum is equal to 0. So sum is 0. So j value will take from j is equal to 1. So when j is equal to 1, so j will vary from j less than I. So j is equal to 1 to 5. So first 6 mod 1 is equal to 0. The given number is perfect number or not. So you can write it in this way. So 6, the divisors of 6 are 1, 2 and 3. So 6 mod 1 is equal to 0. This is true. So therefore sum is equal to sum plus 0. So 0 plus j. J is equal to 1 now. Now sum is equal to 1. So this is equal to sum. Next, after that, j value is incremented by 1. So j is equal to 2. So these statements will be executed n number of times. So for j is equal to 2, again 6 mod j, that means 2 is equal to 0 or not. So this is also true. So therefore this line will be executed. Initial value of sum is 1. So 1 plus, so now what is the value of j? 2. So 1 plus 2 is equal to 3 now. Now this is the value of sum. Now next j is equal to 3. So after that it will check whether this is divisible by 3 or not. This is true. So therefore it will add to the sum. So 3 plus 3 is equal to 6. So this is the value of sum. So after that j is incremented by 4. So it will check this condition 6 mod 4 whether it is 0 or not. So this is false. So therefore this will not be added to sum. Next again j is equal to 5. The condition becomes false. So it will come out of this loop. Now sum is equal to, value of sum is equal to 1 plus 2 plus 3, which is equal to 6. So 6 is the sum and the given number is also 6. So both are equal. So therefore you can say that the given number is, so it will print the given number. So that is I, the value of value stored in the variable I is 6. So thus 6 will be printed. Next again in the range 100. So we know that. So if you run this program and if you enter the range as 100, so you'll get the output as the perfect numbers between 1 to 100 are 6 and 28. So thus in this way, so this outer for loop is to iterate from 1 to the given range. Suppose we have entered the range as 100. So this loop will iterate from 1 to 100. So 100 times this loop will be running. And this condition is checked whether the given obtained value of sum is equal to the value of this, the value of the number, the value which is contained in the variable I. So then if it is equal, then it will be printed as a perfect number. Otherwise, the corresponding number will not be printed. So this is the condition, and in order to check whether the given number is perfectly divisible by, in order to check whether what are the divisors of the given number, so this is the loop. If it is perfectly divisible, if the particular number is perfectly divisible by the given number, then you get it as 0 and that is added to the sum. Otherwise, it is not added to the sum. So in this way, you can write the program to find perfect numbers between 1 to n. So here n is nothing but the upper range. So in this way, so thus we have seen programs using looping statements. So the different loops which are there, they are problems based on programs based on loops we have seen. So first one is for loop, next one is while loop, and then we have also seen the programs for using do while loop also. So in the next video lecture, we'll see some more concepts of C programming. Until then, thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.